Dwayne Ashford here. We're coming right on back with part 2. Part 2, Wednesday night, May 19th. You with StreetNOW News. Dwayne Ashford right now. We do want to remind you that this particular broadcast is part 2 of an earlier part 1 version, Wednesday night, May 19th. Headlines around the nation. You're hearing the voice of Dwayne Ashford. Produced by Dwayne Ashford. Broadcast by Dwayne Ashford. Managed by Dwayne Ashford. Reported by Dwayne Ashford. The face on the cover of this broadcast is of Dwayne Ashford, and this voice is none other than Dwayne Ashford, who is also the Indacarseat DatGuy. Now, we promised you 3 stories, headline around the nation, and we didn't have enough time to bring that 3rd story to you. So we are coming back and giving you a part 2, Wednesday night, May 19th, to complete that broadcast as promised to you with that 3rd story. The 3rd story is coming from the Associated Press. And you're getting your news from SNnews, Dwayne Ashford. Now, this particular story, again, is reported first by today by the Associated Press. The writer of this story is Jim Mustian. And this story, it was reported by the Associated Press out of New Orleans, Louisiana, where a Louisiana state trooper was captured on a body video, stunning, punching, and dragging a black man as the black man apologized for leading the police on a high-speed chase. Now, footage of the man's last moments alive. Yeah, the man died. The footage of the man's last moments alive that the Associated Press obtained after authorities refused to release the information for over 2 years shows Ronald Green can be heard telling the Caucasian or troopers, I don't want to say give the race here, but that's what the story states here, telling the troopers as the unarmed man repeatedly was jolted with a stun gun before he eventually gets out of the car along the dark rural road. He gets out of the car and along the dark road, and Ronald Green was heard upon the final release of the footage. Was heard saying, I'm your brother, I'm scared. Now, the story is entitled, I'm Scared. AP obtains video of deadly arrest of black man. This particular story was released today by the Associated Press, written under writer Jim Mustian. Now, this is the 3rd story that SNnews, Dwayne Ashford, is going to broadcast for you today. Other stories included the NYPost story of a plastic surgery for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, who did a full-blown plastic surgery today. And that was one of the stories that you'll hear in part 1 of today. And so this is just another one of the stories now for the headlines around the nation, being brought to you by SNnews journalist-in-chief broadcaster Terry-Dwayne Ashford. The arrest that we're talking about today occurred in 2019, and it occurred outside of Monroe, Louisiana. The arrest in New Orleans right now is the subject of a federal civil rights investigation. But Louisiana officials have rebuffed repeated calls to release the footage and details about what caused the 49-year-old's death. The troopers initially told Green's family he died on the impact after crashing into a tree. Yeah, that's what the state troopers told the family of Mr. Green. Later, state police released a one-page statement acknowledging that Green struggled with troopers and died on his way to the hospital. Yeah, died on his way to the hospital. Then that's what was said later on. And as they show a photograph of Mr. Green there on the now, only now in the footage obtained by the Associated Press from one of the troopers' body camera can the public see for the first time some of what happened during the arrest. They saw some of what happened. Now, the 46-minute clip shows one trooper wrestling Green to the ground. Shows the trooper putting him in a chokehold and punching him in the face, while another can be heard calling him a stupid motherfucker. Green wails. He says, I'm sorry, as another state trooper delivers another stun gun shock to the backside and warns, look, you're going to get it again if you don't put your blank hands behind your back. That's what a trooper said as he was dragging the man face down after his legs had been shackled and his hands cuffed behind him. Now, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that. Now, one of the things we're hearing, quotes that was quoted in the story. Again, this story is coming to you from the Associated Press. Jim Munster? Let's see here. Let's make sure we get that name right. Jim Munstian is the writer of that story. It's quotes here. I hope this guy ain't got fucking AIDS. One of the troopers can be heard saying on the video. For SNnews, I'm your journalist-in-chief broadcaster, Terry-Dwayne Ashford, and you're now with part 2 of Wednesday night's SNnews broadcast on May 19th. And we want to thank you so much for your listening ear as we take you back to the sounds created for you by SNnews Jig called Grooving With You. We also want to remind you of the Roland Garros. That means the French Open. That's what the Roland Garros is. Roland Garros is the French Open. The French Open begins on May 30th. And StreetNOW News, sports, tennis specifically, will be reporting on that for you under the voice of Terry-Dwayne Ashford once again. For SNnews on Wednesday night, Wednesday night, part 2, following our live broadcast of part 1. And Wednesday night, May 19th, we're closing out now with that under the voice of Terry-Dwayne Ashford. Again, this particular program was produced by Terry-Dwayne Ashford, directed by Terry-Dwayne Ashford, managed by Terry-Dwayne Ashford, reported by Terry-Dwayne Ashford. The voice you're hearing is that of Terry-Dwayne Ashford, as well as the face that you will see on the cover of this particular broadcast, taking at the photograph that's going to be taken at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Washington, D.C. We're going to be closing out on that for you right now in a few short moments.